Welcome to 10 Minutes Today. I'm Jake, that's Matej, and this is your favorite weekly show right here on YouTube. We come to you every single Wednesday, except last Wednesday because someone decided to have their gallbladder removed.
Not me.
No, but it's your fault. We come to you with all of the news you may have missed from the past week. So, this week we're going to be summarizing 2 weeks worth of stuff. Might be a little bit longer than 10 minutes.
No way.
But here we go.
Maybe. 2 weeks ago, Donald Trump stated at an Alabama rally, "Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, 'Get that son of a bitch off the field right now. Out. He's fired. He's fired.'"
He actually said it the way he said it on the TV show.
Oh, of course. Why wouldn't he?
He paused to be like, "He's fired." Like, it was stupid.
This was followed closely by the first MLB player kneeling during the anthem in protest of Trump diminishing free speech. Sunday saw nearly every team in the NFL having multiple players kneel for the anthem, along with team owners, coaches, and other training staff. The Pittsburgh Steelers stayed in the locker room as a team, aside from one player who attended military college, of course.
And he regrets his decision. He came out and said he regrets not staying with the team.
Fair enough. Now the question has to be asked, did the majority of people even know who Colin Kaepernick was?
Do you know who Colin Kaepernick is?
I did, but
Okay.
only because of Tommy Lahren.
Okay.
That was a great little
And you only
excerpt.
watch her because she's attractive.
No, I don't watch her. I only found that because it was a ridiculous rant. Anyways, did they know he was protesting for Black Lives Matter, though? That's another question. Probably not. But thanks to Trump, everyone knows who he is, what his message is, and it's been blasted around the world.
2 weeks ago, Hurricane Maria devastated the American island of Puerto Rico. 80% of the island's power infrastructure was completely destroyed. Food and water are scarce, and some regions still today have not been reached at all by rescuers, and individuals likely have no idea about any rescue efforts.
Unfortunately.
American aid has poured into all other regions of the country impacted by the storm, but the isolated island, who pay taxes to the U.S. government and have a large population in the American military, are not represented at all in government.
Are they, sorry to throw you a curveball here, but are they not voting to not be that?
They're voting to become American.
No.
They want in. They want a vote in the Senate. That's the big thing.
Interesting.
Basically, their senator doesn't have a vote, merely a voice. I think it's actually still a female senator that they have in Congress, and she's allowed to give her input. She's allowed to speak, but she cannot cast a vote in Congress. True taxation without representation. One of the founding phrases behind the United States. This injustice is made blatantly clear in this example. Essentially, an American state is set to be without power for up to 8 months entirely. And the White House has made it very clear that Puerto Rico is a separate entity from the U.S. They are a territory, not a state. Except they basically are a U.S. state. It's time for them to treat their citizens as assets rather than liabilities. The coming weeks and months will be rough for the devastated country, and anyone able to help should donate to United for Puerto Rico, supported by the First Lady of Puerto Rico.
That would be nice.
So after writing this article, Trump has both announced and actually visited the island of Puerto Rico, hoping to bring more funds to the area, but a whole media shitstorm started after he blamed the mayor of San Juan, the largest city in Puerto Rico, for not being capable of dealing with the devastation, and it is a media shit show, and fuck Trump.
Side note, and I'm paraphrasing here, but Trump was talking about the death toll from Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, and he was saying something to the effect of, yes, it's tragic, the deaths that have come because of this hurricane, but we have made enormous strides in regards to the deaths of the hurricane. People can't believe how enormous our strides have been.
They've been huge.
They've been huge. Mexico is still reeling from a massive 7.1 magnitude earthquake with nearly 300 presumed dead. Bad time. Bad timing on that. And dozens of buildings completely destroyed. With widespread infrastructure damage to the country's capital, it was probably hit the hardest of them all. Since the initial earthquake, many citizens have said they are not sleeping, and any small tremor brings hordes of people to the safety of the streets for fear that their already rattled homes could come down with any nominal shake. The current count of damaged but not destroy buildings sits around 4,000.
Yep.
The usually divided country, under deep-rooted social discrepancies, has come together and set up safe sleep areas on the streets and even a large sheet of brown paper where citizens are writing feelings down in attempts to help with widespread PTSD. That's nice to see that a country is really taking into account the emotional side of catastrophic damage like this.
Yeah, more the people than the government, I think.
In an interview with the New York Times, Henry Rodriguez, a 17-year veteran of Doctors Without Borders in Mexico, has said, "We are part of a group that has to react to these events, whose responsibility it is to help others. But we are also humans, and we feel these traumas too. Psychologists in the city are doing their best to give aid to those in need, but this will be a long-term concern for those impacted. Let's take an opportunity to talk to people about mental illness and urge those who need it to seek help. This is a battle that we as humans can overcome, and it all starts with each of us helping one another." I'm not affiliated with this message.
Auto collision rates will be going up in the ultra-progressive country of Saudi Arabia. News broke last week that the Muslim nation, who have a seat on the Human Rights Tribunal of the United Nations, just decided now that women should be able to drive. Thankfully, their government now understands that women can do whatever a man can, and in the desert nation, women are now not quite the equivalent of a dog under law. They are, however, still owned by a man for their entire life, can't actively participate in politics, can't show their skin because it'll make men horny, can't sleep with who they want or they get stoned to death, so let's not get too excited here.
To be fair, though, letting women drive will let them get to meetings where they can now fight for those rights.
Okay. Let's not forget that it literally just made news that women can legally drive in a country in 2017.
Woo!
So, same year argument.
In what is being described as multiple acts of terror by Prime Minister Trudeau, a man last week hit an officer at high speed with a car, got out of the car, and stabbed him multiple times before getting into a U-Haul, hitting several other people before crashing and being apprehended by police in downtown Edmonton. Not the place to be.
No.
Now, this gives me an opportunity to speak to my fellow Canadians because this is our new reality. And next time, I want to see those on the sidewalk who witnessed the attack to help stop that terrorist before he has the opportunity to steal a truck. How many witnesses were there?
There's a lot. Have you not seen the video?
Come on,
There's a lot.
people. What are you doing? That cop had steel inside him and still managed to fight him off and save his own life. We need to realize that first responders aren't always prepared, just like us. Now, I don't blame the bystanders for not reacting because who knows how many of us would actually react in a situation like that. But we need to begin to change our mindsets and realize that no matter how hard we try, these events are going to happen. It is our job as citizens to protect one another in these situations, especially if there's more than one person there. Like, you gotta jump in and help out. In a viral video earlier this year, a U.S. state trooper was being harassed and beaten by two bikers at the side of a road, and two citizens jumped out of their car and kicked some biker ass.
They did? They really... Have you seen that video?
No, I haven't.
It's
I missed
awesome.
that one.
Oh, they beat the shit out of these two guys.
The police are here to protect us, but let's start doing our part for them too.
In what is now the largest mass shooting in U.S. history, 59 people have died and over 500 have been injured when a rich white guy decided to open fire on a Las Vegas country music festival. While Jason Aldean began one of his songs, you can hear gunfire erupt, and after a few short seconds, 3 lines into his song, complete panic erupts through the crowd at the outdoor show. A 69-year-old guy is to blame. He had a room stockpiled with rifles and explosives on the 32nd floor of a hotel with a view of the entire festival. He was an affluent man, an accountant, who had never even had a speeding ticket on his record, according to his local police station. Now, many Americans have come forward and said not to politicize this and not to talk about gun control. But luckily, we're Canadians, and now we have an excuse to exercise our right to free speech, because there's never a wrong time to politicize an issue. America, you have a gun problem. Yes, it's also about mental instability, mental illness, poverty, Muslims, blah, blah, blah. But you have to face facts. No other modern country has even close to the number of shootings currently occurring in the United States. No other modern country has a major political contributor in a gun lobbying organization. Yes, I'm talking about the NRA. Now, I know some of these guns were likely illegal, but here in Canada, you simply can't get them at all. There is no black market for belt-fed machine guns, which many contributors and former military personnel have said on multiple news organizations across the US by the sound and appearance of the video is likely the type of weapons that was being used, that being belt-fed or those big round magazines. Because here, there's simply no one to use them on. The reason the US thinks they have someone to use them on is they give guns to everyone.
Yeah.
You're creating the situation yourselves. I don't need a gun in my house for protection because no one is breaking in with one. Now, full disclosure, there are several guns in my home that are legally owned, locked up in a safe, and used for hunting, which, even if someone did break into the house, could not remotely be accessed fast enough to use against them. That's what crowbars are for. So let's stop sending thoughts and prayers and start saying it like it is. America, solve your gun problem. Oh, and by the way, the US voted with Saudi Arabia against a UN resolution that would outlaw the death penalty for the act of being gay, also outlawing the death penalty for pregnant people, people under the age of 18, and I haven't heard one solid defense about it, so you can fix that while you're at it.